Where did you?
Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, Trump and the Patriots, they've been pushing for a way to control the central banks. Q has been telling us that the central bank will be restructured. We know that the central bank will also be brought down by using gold. And Q has also told us that the central banks are going to increase rates dramatically in the year of 2019, which is this year. And they said they already had a plan to stop this. Now, the plan just couldn't be the Fed only. It had to be other central banks. And I do believe, going back in time, this is why Trump was contradicting the central bank. Every time they increased the rates, he would blame them for bringing the stock market down, making the economy worse. This was planned. So every time the American people hear the rates moving up, they correlate it to the central bank. And it looks like Trump and the Patriots, they succeeded with this, because what do we see today? We see the Patriots are completely controlling the central banking establishment, because the central bank establishment, they do not want to be exposed, and we'll be talking about that in just a minute. But first, let's talk about what is happening in the economy. Now, Trump is pushing the narrative that the economy is fantastic. Yes, statistically, the economy looks incredible. And like I said before, he's using the weapons that the central banks, the mainstream media, the deep state used before. He's using the same exact statistical information and using it against them. This is why he continually makes announcements out there saying, look at our numbers. If you notice, it's always the numbers. Look at our GDP. Look at our unemployment. Look at the stock market. Because what have the mainstream media, the deep state, the central banks have been doing over many, many years? They've been telling all of us to look at these numbers. And guess what? He controls the narrative now. He controls these numbers. He has the magic wand. Trump tweeted out that aluminum prices are down 12% since I instituted tariffs on aluminum dumping, and the U.S. will be taking in billions plus jobs. Nice. Yes, Trump is bringing back jobs. Trump is completely resetting the entire economic system. And the last thing to do is to get rid of all this debt. Now, if we look at the debt around the world, we can see it is absolutely horrific. Remember, the central banks, they love debt slaves. They love people who have a lot of debt. You ever wonder why the mainstream media and all these financial channels, every time they report on something and say, whoa, credit card spending is up, that means things are really, really good. Think about what the central bankers are doing. They're convincing you that if you increase your debt, spending increases, because this is how they control the population. They believe that household borrowing converts into household spending. And this is the biggest contributor to GDP. Remember, they had to do this over the many, many years, because if they didn't, the 70% of GDP would look incredibly bad. Because think about it, strip away all credit, strip away the credit cards, and let people use the fiat money that the Federal Reserve is printing. What do you think the GDP would look like? What do you think the spending would look like? It would be absolutely horrible. This is why they needed to continually push the idea that debt is good. Oh, whoa, you want to buy something? No problem. We have a store credit card. You don't have to make payments for who knows how long, and you can buy this piece of merchandise. And people go, oh, yeah, that's great. Look at that. I don't have to pay anything for 2 to 3 months. You're late on one little payment. What does the interest rate go up to? 20, 30, 40%? Boom. They have you. This is how they trick the people around the world. And they love people that are in debt. I mean, right now, the United States is number 11 in the world. Now, after the financial crisis, a lot of people lost a lot of things. People went bankrupt. They filed for bankruptcy. And ever since the financial crisis, the central bankers have been trying to push the debt levels up. I mean, right now, America is number 11 in the world for total household debt as a percent of GDP. When we look down the list, the top 3 are the following. The Danish, they are number 3. They have 116.7% of GDP. Australia, they're number 2, 120.5%. Number 1 is the Swiss. They're 128.8. So Swiss households, they are the number 1 country, and they're the most in debt. And let me just say that this is what the central bankers have been doing over all these years. Putting countries, putting people into debt. Now it's time to end this. The Patriots right now, Trump, Q team, they are taking control of the central banks, the narrative. Now, they might not have people in the inside actually controlling it, but think about this for a second. Do you think the central bank, the Rothschild central bank system, do you think they would back off crashing the economy if they were in control? Why didn't they proceed with their mission? Q has told us they are planning to raise rates dramatically in 2019. Not just the Fed. The ECB was planning to raise their rates in 2019. Why did they back off? What would be the purpose? Because the central bankers, they know if they proceeded with their mission to raise their rates in 2019 while the economy looks fantastic, they would be exposed. Right now, the ECB, they're rolling back everything that they said. Oh, we're going to be raising interest rates. Oh, we're going to do everything possible. You know what they're doing? They're starting up the printing presses again because they know they cannot raise their rates right now. They know if they do, the entire central bank establishment, the ECB, the IMF, the BIS, the Federal Reserve, they'd be completely exposed. Now, many people think, well, that doesn't mean that the Patriots are controlling them. Really, think about this for a second. There was going to be a coordinated effort between the Central Bank of the United States, the Central Bank of Europe, IMF, and the rest to bring down the world economy together. This is why the mainstream media was out there saying that there was going to be a recession in 2020. This was the plan. This is why Mario Draghi was out there saying, yes, we're going to be raising the interest rates. Then all of a sudden, when Q made that announcement that they understand and they know the plan and they're taking action to prevent it, all of a sudden we see the central bank community, well, they're reeling it all back. The ECB right now looks like they're not even going to raise interest rates. Yeah, they're talking about it, but it looks like it's not going to happen. The Fed, they're just going to wait patiently. They even stopped unwinding their balance sheet. Didn't they tell us that this was going to be on autopilot? Well, no longer. Why? Because they don't have that event. Because the Patriots are controlling the narrative. And the Patriots continue to say, look at the economy, it's fantastic. We're doing fantastically. And if everything goes south, it's not because of what we're doing. It's because of what the central bank is going to do. Because if they raise rates, they're the ones who bring down the stock market. If they raise rates, they're the ones who slow the economy. If they raise rates, they're the ones who slow the global economy. This is why the central banks are holding off. The Patriots are controlling pretty much everything right now. And once you have this control, what is the next move? The next move is to bring down the central bank establishment. What's going to happen is, yes, we will have a crisis, but the crisis is going to be blamed on the ECB. The crisis is going to be blamed on the Fed. The crisis is going to be blamed on the IMF, the BIS. And once the crisis hits, the central banks are completely exposed to it all. There's nothing they can do to back out of this. Remember, they control the economy. They're the ones who manage it. They're the ones who are telling us they're in full control. Well, all the patriots have to do is say, they're the ones who brought it down. Look, by raising the rates, by doing this, we are now in a recession. They are to blame. It's just a matter of time. And guess what? We're approaching that time. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.